Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's Pastor Bramick at Holy Shepherd Lutheran Church in Hazlet, Texas. It's good to be back with all of you on this 31st day of July. We just got back from our youth trip yesterday, and so now our daily devotions will resume. And we are starting today in the book of Acts, the 25th chapter, and verse 13 is where we're going to begin. A few days later, King Agrippa and Bernice arrived at Caesarea to pay their respects to Festus. Since they were spending many days there, Festus discussed Paul's case with with the king. He said, "There is a man here whom Felix left as a prisoner. When I went to Jerusalem, the chief priests and elders of the Jews brought charges against him and asked that he be condemned. I told them that it is not the Roman custom to hand over any man before he has faced his accusers and has had the opportunity to defend himself against their charges. When they came here with me, I did not delay the case, but convened the court the next day and ordered the man to be brought in. When his accusers got up to speak, they did not charge him with any of the crimes I had expected. Instead, they had some points of dispute with him about their own religion and about a dead man named Jesus who Paul claimed was alive. I was at a loss how to investigate such matters, so I asked if he would be willing to go to Jerusalem and stand trial there on these charges. When Paul made his appeal to be held over for the emperor's decision, I ordered him held until I could send him to Caesar." Then Agrippa said to Festus, "I would like to hear this man myself." He replied, "Tomorrow you will hear him." The next day, Agrippa and Bernice came with great pomp and entered the audience room with the high-ranking officers and leading men of the city. At the command of Festus, Paul was brought in. Festus said, "King Agrippa and all who are present with us, you see this man. The whole Jewish community has petitioned me about him in Jerusalem and here in Caesarea, shouting that he ought to no longer live. I found that he had done nothing deserving of death, but because he made his appeal to the emperor, I decided to send him to Rome. But I have nothing definite to write to his majesty about him. Therefore, I have brought him before all of you, and especially before you, King Agrippa, so that as a result of this investigation I may have something to write. For I think it is unreasonable to send on a prisoner without specifying the charges against him." All right, so Paul was originally arrested in Jerusalem for, going to the temple and I believe having a Gentile with him, which was Timothy. And the people at the temple got very upset that he was there preaching the gospel and also there with a Gentile. So they sent him up to Caesarea because it's felt that he is going to be killed if he stays there in Jerusalem. And the Jewish people now are very much set against Paul, and they want to take his life. They don't like him. They don't like his teachings. They don't like his confession of faith. And so they want to do away with him. Now, he gets sent to Caesarea, and Caesarea is up north. It's along the coastline. It was a famous port named after Caesar. And it's a very beautiful place. And so Paul is in prison there, and the kings of that region, the leaders of that region would oftentimes get together. So Festus is the procurator of Judea, and Agrippa is a king of these kind of northern regions. So Festus has come up now to Caesarea, and Agrippa is there, and they're meeting with Bernice, and they're having their discussions, and Paul is a part of those discussions because they're trying to decide what to do with him. Now, there is this point that's made that, why don't we just send him back to Jerusalem? Paul knows he's not going to get a fair trial there. He knows he's going to be killed there. And it really just forces his hand, and he has to appeal to go to Rome. So, he will then go from Caesarea on to Rome, and this is a several-year process that is taking place. So, all along the way, Paul is going to be confessing the gospel. He's going to be confessing the gospel as he appears before Agrippa, and we'll hear more about that tomorrow. And he's going to be testifying to Jesus Christ and his salvation and how he was raised from the dead. And this is what Jesus had told Paul about suffering for his name, and also about Paul appearing before kings. I mean, Jesus had said that about us when we get arrested and things like that. So that's what Paul is doing. He is under arrest because he preached the gospel and because he brought Timothy to a place that was very sacred to the Jews. And now he is going through the route of the Roman appeal system. And because he is a Roman citizen, he has the right to appeal to Caesar and to appear before Caesar himself. If he wasn't a Roman citizen, he could not do that. So it's directly because, or distinctly because he is a Roman citizen, that he has the ability to go to Caesar, which he's going to do. But tomorrow we'll hear more about his testimony before Festus. All right, let's continue now as we pray together the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Everyone, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you his peace. Amen. All right, so announcements for this coming week. We have tomorrow, the Women's Bible Study is resuming at 1 p.m. And then Wednesday night, we'll have Youth Night at its usual time at 6 p.m. And then this coming weekend, we're having Men's Breakfast on Saturday with the Elders meeting to follow. So Men's Breakfast will be at 8 a.m. with the Elders meeting at 9:30 a.m. All right, and that's all the announcements I have for today. Again, it is good to be back with all of you and to be doing devotions again. We will look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we resume our discussion of the book of Acts.